Righty-ho, let's get started. Is that recording? Yes, it is. So, welcome into the Reloved Guitars workshop. This handsome creature, this 2014 Gibson SG Junior, and so this is in for basically setup to make sure it's playing as well as it can, make sure that it plays as well as the owner's dad's guitar does, for which I've done the setups for. So yeah, it's really interesting. I'm going to do a couple of measurements of the action, and then I'm going to strip off the strings. I'm going to then sort of have a look at what's going on. Nut adjusting tool. No, that's not an adjusting tool. I think it probably means truss rod adjusting tool. Okay, so there are some new strings, which are 10s, no, 9s. Let's have a look. Front pocket. What have we got? It's the truss rod adjuster. Yeah, we've got 10s here, and the truss rod adjuster. It's in its wrapping, so it's never been done before. So let's just have a quick look at what we've got. We've got 2.5 millimeters, so about 2.5 on both sides, and so it probably certainly could drop that by a millimeter. Should be able to drop it by a millimeter. In this guitar, I've only got Adam's sort of say so to go off, and he says that his dad's guitar, he liked the way that was set up. So there's a reference point for me, is Malcolm's Hagstrom. The nut slot settings are pretty good on this. They're actually quite low. I'm not sure are they all exactly the same? Close. They're about 0.3. So I'm quite happy with that. Hardly any relief in that neck. But it's quite, in fact, there's a tiny bit convex, so there's not a lot of relief. So first observations, I'm going to just write it down on the board. Where is it? Okay. So what have we observed? What did we say? 2.5 millimeters at the 22nd to start with. Zero relief. Actually convex on treble side. And 0.3, 0.3 at the first. So those are important little measurements for this. It's 120th anniversary beastie. It's lovely. It's got beautiful. Everything's built beautifully. Plays nicely. I mean, it's a very, very good quality player. I'm going to be interested now to see what happens when we remove the strings and check the frets for level, which we're going to do now. And these strings, I'm not sure how often Adam's changed them, but we've got new strings in the kit to go with, so we don't have to preserve these or do anything, just take them off. So I'll get as far as making sure the neck is flat and just doing a little check on the frets before we go any further. I think it's around about a £600 guitar, so you wouldn't expect a guitar of this price range to have been through the famous plecking machine, the one that makes the frets mathematically level. So I will sort of be half expecting quite a bit of unevenness. I mean, the point is, we probably could have lowered the action just as it was, but part of the game here is to by the way, I'm going to take a picture of this because it's pointing the adjusters are facing the back, and it's always good to know that. Sometimes I forget. People have them different ways around. I mean, there's one of those things with various points of view involved. Some people will absolutely swear blind that the intonation adjusters should be facing the front, and others swear it should be at the back, and I'm quite of the view that having them at the back is perfectly good. You have a lot more room to access them. So these are quite high up, but we're going to readjust those to set a new action. What I will do is just make a measurement on the I wonder if I can do it with this. Just want to make a little measurement on the height of these things. Zero it. Round zero it. Yeah. No, I can't get in to do that. Damn. No, it won't allow me. That was ambitious. Okay, so just for my information, that's probably a better way of doing it. The underside of that first layer, underside is at 5. The underside is at 4. So I'm just going to mark that down as well. Oops, lazy. I don't quite know how we'll mark it down, but I will say underside. So we're looking at that 4 and 5. So that's on the base side. Just little bits of information that are really useful to me. So now I can take these off. There's a special little tool which I don't have, but that you use for lifting up the bridge, take the pressure off the bridge while you're making adjustments. But as I say, I'll have to do without that and improvise something. Okay, cut these down the middle. There we have it. These coloured ones, I think, what are they? Daddario or something. Everybody quite likes these coloured ones. But we've got Ernie Ball for the next lot, which is okay. So it's quite a busy day this time round. I'm also going to take off the truss rod cover. Yes, busy day, lots of different things going on, which is quite nice. That's sort of how I like it. It doesn't get boring if you've got multiple guitars going at the same time. There's always one job to go back to make sure you kind of keep progressing them all. So yeah, this looks like the nut has been taken good care of at some point. The truss rod cover. I mean, something that's quite nice about the precision of that compared to other guitars. You can really see it's a precise little cutout, not the hacked away thing that you quite often find on cheaper alternatives. So you know, I like lots of guitars. I like any kind of guitar. There's something very, very elegantly or cleanly made about this thing. Whether or not I like it, it feels almost, well, it feels too nice to knock about. You know, it's one of those things that, how would this ever get old? Could it ever get old? You know, I suppose it would over 50 years, but it feels like something you'd be really, really careful not to knock about. So this is straight on the bass side and slightly convex on the treble side, and it's one of those situations where, in my book, that means we have to do a compromise. There's no way around it. Here's the little tool. I need to get one of these, by the way. So we're saying we're slightly convex on the treble side, so that means we need to go a tiny bit counterclockwise. Blimey. All manner of creaking, and it's obviously the first time that it's moved, the truss rod has moved in its cavity, mate. And then we've got straight, and we've got still slightly convex, but just about alright. Yeah. And it's funny, you know, you can get various different straight edges, or you can make your own. I saw a really nice one made from a block of steel, a bar of steel, with holes drilled. So it was cut a series of holes down the side of it at the right intervals, centered in exactly the right intervals, and then the bar was obviously cut, and then the edges filed flat, and then you had a thing that stood, homemade thing that stood above over the frets, is what I'm trying to say. And interesting, that was a hand-built thing, and it worked perfectly well. I do most of it by eye. Some people find that really disgraceful and shocking, but most of the time it's all very well if you put your thing on, even with your cut-out fret holes, and you put it on there. And the problem is, it's because the guitar is going to be slightly different from one side to the other. Very often, it's really common, I found that. So a lot of the time I find myself having to compromise, which means staging it somewhere between the two, and in a way it takes some of the science out of it. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got a nicely levelled neck. And just out of interest now, let's have a look. Well, we've got some unevenness at the first one we've tried, and at the third, fourth one. Not huge, but a little bit. Might be able to hear it. It's minor, but it's there, like that. And that's quite a lot. So I'm going to do the work on this neck as I did with Adam's dad's guitar, and that means time to mask off the neck, the fretboard, to make sure it's safe and protected from anything we do. And if you watch these videos before, you'll know what goes on here. It's a case of I'm using low tack masking tape, just going through using as much tape as it takes to be able to cover the whole fretboard and surrounding areas when we get up to that end. Because if I'm going to work on gently leveling these frets, then I want to be able to protect any of the bodywork as we go. So when the frets come together a bit more, then I have to switch over to cutting some strips on a board, which is all a bit boring and slow, but I'll sort of switch off in a minute. So suddenly miraculously jump to it all being done, and then what I might do is go out and take an hour in the hammock, because it is the weekend and it is spring and it's gorgeous out there. So forgive me if I do this. I've got all evening day to do this, which I will make use of the rest of the day. Okay, so from this point onwards, I'll just switch to the cutting board and cut myself some variety of strips. Now I just go around the back, and I'm just tabbing these against themselves at the back. Oh, that's not good. Tabbing the tape against itself at the back, and it's just really, that keeps it in place, but it also makes it easy to get off at the end of the job. Now I'm short of a hanger at the moment, so I'm going to hang Mike's guitar for a second, and use the stand for this SG, so I can pick it up and put it down quicker. I'm just going to gently dangle this fella here, settle it in so it doesn't back off too many things. No. Good. I'm going to put our SGJ down here gently into its place, and then I'm going to pull up fretboard and get stuck into setting up my different thicknesses of tape to allow me to finish the masking thing. So I'm going to cut off right now. See you again at the point which I'm going to record. I'm going to recheck the frets for level, and this time I'm just, because it's a Gibson and I'm interested, I'm going to measure and mark where it's uneven, just for my information. I want to know what the kind of percentage is at the end of the day, you know, so that I have a point of reference. And if somebody brings another one, I know that they're likely to be X% uneven based on what I've seen on this one. So I will see you shortly. Well, for your information, the tally is 77% uneven frets on this USA Gibson SG Junior. So I'm using a 12-inch radius block. Sorry about the noise of tools, to just gently even out those uneven frets, and it's quite significant. There's some of them up here quite uneven, to say the least, and some quite low ones as well. So, you know, this is a guitar that's come out of the factory and not been done anything to, like a lot of other factory made guitars that I keep seeing, no matter how expensive they are. I'm sure that above a certain price they allegedly go through a Plek machine or some such thing, but not this one. So it's getting its first levelling ever, which is a pity because this is a big name guitar, and you'd hope that it was dependable in terms of being level. You'd really want that. So I'm just going to double check all these bits. They're not hugely unlevel, well, not all of them anyway, some of them a bit more than others. So yeah, no, that's not one. It was one, but it's not anymore. Okay, most of that's taken care of. It's this end here that's a bit not so good, but let's see what we get when we get there. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, just about. Tiny bit left there to take out. Let's make a note of that with another little symbol, I guess, so I can spot it. Yeah, 77%. Bit there still. 77% on your American-made Les Paul. No, I keep saying Les Paul, SG Junior. Bit there. Still a bit there. There wasn't any there before, so that's just been revealed by taking down some of the other area. Okay. Wow, that was really high. The great thing about the radius block is that it will take it down of its own accord, so it's sort of built in the fact that it will bring us all level to the same level. Still some there. Okay, well I know I've got more to do then, particularly at this end. This very last fret isn't getting any touching at all, whereas one up here is quite a significant amount, so the difference between that fret and that fret is quite substantial. Oh, that is such a difference. That one's not even being touched, so that's low. So this one's very low and that one's very low, which that's not so much of a problem. since they're the last few, and I'm not going to go any further down with these. I'm just going to stop where I am. Just to check the ones that I needed to double check, like this one. It's okay now. That one. Okay. And this one. Okay. Alright. Yeah, look at that, really low. Maybe deliberately dropped off, but I don't think so. It's only applies to 2 of them. Okay, so now I'm just going to mark these up again, ready to work them with the fret crowning file. I'll leave you to wonder how some of these frets can be so low and high relative to each other, and you can tell that by some of the amount that's been taken off. It's quite a lot. You can see quite flat spots for now, which of course we'll take care of, but for it to have a flat spot, it means that that particular fret must be relatively quite high relative to the others, which isn't a good thing. Okay, I'm going to come back and do that in a minute, but I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so I've leveled the frets and reprofiled the frets on this Gibson SG Junior 2014 model, and now we're just on to the stage where it's time to polish it up with a combination of sandpapers and the micromesh papers up here, and I'm going to turn the volume down on the recording because this gets a bit noisy at this point, so hold on. Down to about 30 or something, so it doesn't get too bad. Right, so off I go. It's a bit dazzling here with the sunlight, but the principle of this is to evenly shine up all these frets and to go over all of them equally, so we don't introduce any more unevenness. So I'm going to do it with my fingers as a way of getting up and over each of the frets so that they retain the roundness, as opposed to flattening them off, which we don't want to do. Okay. I'm going to do this with my fingers for a while, and then eventually I'll switch to the block. Stick with using the fingers to begin with, because it's a more effective tool, I think. And then if I can, change directions, come back down this way. Spin that around a bit. Again, not really putting any pressure on it. It's quite light. Just want to go over and ride up over the frets and back down. More the other way, and then we'll use about 3 pieces of paper doing this. The first one out of the way. It's really bright. Late afternoon sunshine here. It's a beautiful day in good old rural Devon. Looks like we got another one about as nice lined up for tomorrow. So it's a stroke of luck. So Adam, if you're watching this, you might be surprised to have seen so many uneven frets on this guitar, but I'm not. It's the way they seem to be, and it's not the first Gibson I've seen with uneven frets, or the first I've seen a custom shop Fender with uneven frets. So it seems that above a certain price range, guitars get the Plek treatment. Below that price range they don't. And this one is obviously below that typical price range. Okay, so that's the second of three. And now I'm going to switch to the block, if I can find it. Block and the 600 paper, and then we'll move on to the micro mesh. Again, I'm just letting this bounce, kind of roll over the frets, pointing downwards more than I'm pointing across. But I still don't want to flatten it out. That's not what I'm aiming to do. There are some marker pens still down the side, but we can aim to get that out with a bit of solvent. It's quite amazing to think that guitars come with uneven frets full stop, but as you can see, they obviously played before and fairly well. Nothing particularly wrong with it. Whizzing down the side to get a bit off there. Okay, so that's the 600 finished. Now I'm going to run the whole sequence of micro mesh, and again, because I'm jumping now from 600 to 15, I'll take a bit of time with this one. The end frets usually get the ones that get missed out a little bit more, so we have to be careful to include them in this. Okay, so we go on now down the sequence, so 1800 and on. Now we're on the smaller gap now between the 15 and the 18, so we don't have to stay so long on this one. And off we go, 2004. to get the marker pen off here, I can just use a toothbrush with my solvent mixer. Got a whole load of cardboard to burn tonight. Picked up a load more from the bike shop, some of which, a fair bit of which I keep in my stores, and then some smaller bits I'll burn. Here we go, halfway through, 3/6. 4,000. Only 3 more to go. Two more, oh, sorry, 3 more. So one thing I didn't do before doing all this prep work was to just experiment with lowering the bridge action without doing any of the fret work, but judging by the 77% uneven frets, I think we can be fairly sure that we would have hit problems before long if we wound the bridge down without doing anything else. So. And the last one in the sequence, the chamois leather like 12,000. And then in case of taking off the masking tape. There we are. There goes Morris. Off on a mission somewhere. Okay, still a bit dazzly over here, but hope you don't mind. So I'll just gently pull off this. Again, it's low tack, so it shouldn't be a problem on this finish at all. And got a bit of the dust around which we can brush out. Okay, and I'm going to gently put it over its front. Hello. How was the world of shops?
Alright, like a really healthy shop.
Healthy shop. Oh, good for you. Thank you. It's Claire.
Hello. Flower pots. Not proper.
Plastic.
Made in Coventry. Look, they say terracotta. You'd be confused.
Yeah, plastic. Terracotta plastic.
It doesn't even say juice drink.
Style. Terracotta. Flavour. Yeah, I do.
Are you hungry? You must be starving.
Probably. No.
Do you want some
Yeah. Yeah.
sweeties?
No. No, I don't want sweeties. I'll wait for dinner. Right, so we're nearly there. Thumbnails only on this, just to to get underneath the tape to pull it off. And then the tabs, most of the time, make it a bit easier. Although not perfect. Still a fiddly procedure, but it's worth doing because it really takes care of your fingerboard. And that is the bit that really matters, I suppose, when you're talking electric guitars. That's the bit that you have the most important relationship with. So here it comes. Off comes all the paper, and we're left with a beautiful clean rosewood board underneath, as it was before. And then we can just do a little bit of cleaning to get rid of any excess marker pen that's on the sides of the frets. Sometimes you get. There we have it. All the tape off. Yet more tape goes into the shed rubbish department. Okay, so I'll get myself a clean. Yeah, what time is it? Wow. So I'm just going down the sides of these frets to remove any of the marker pen that's gone on the sides, which it always will do a little bit. And then the naphtha just slightly dries out the wood, so we'll give that a very light oil afterwards, but not much because I'm not a fan of over oiling. Okay, nearly there, and these are going to be 10s on this guitar, which I think Adam supplied. Yep, so along with the truss rod adjuster. Right, so that's got the dust and grime off. Lovely, and there we have it. The levelled frets on this. Oh, there goes my phone. Hold on, sorry. Okay, sorry, that was our records indicate that you've been involved in a blah 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 accident, which is not true, of course. Anyway, so I'm just going to get straight back onto reinstalling these parts. They're all lovely and clean. Everything about this guitar is in clean condition. And I have some settings recorded. There's a 6 and a 5 millimeter. Sorry, 4 and a 5 millimeter gap that I can measure on this post. I don't continue to get dazzled. So the thing I need has gone walkabout.
Perfectly placed to get the last drops of
It is, isn't it?
You need a better step.
Yeah. Okay. In this bright sunlight, it's kind of hard to see anything much. And right now, I can't see what's happened to the. Here it is. Just went to the wrong place. Okay, so I want to go for that one. 4 millimeters and 5. Just a tiny bit different. There we go. 4 and 5. We put in these. Interesting. Has that got an Allen key at the top? Weird. I didn't realise that they did that. Maybe that's a nod to the challenges of not being able to do it when there's no screw on the top. Okay, so we put these on because they were facing backwards, and that sits nicely on there. So it is Allen key driven now, by the looks of it, which is not that one. Which will make it a bit easier than trying to do it raising up the thing. Yeah, okay, Allen key. Hurrah! Okay, so I'll just lift it off the ground a little bit for now, and then we'll start the restring process. And I've got 10s down here. Let's put the volume back up now since we stopped making noise with tools. You can hear the birds as well. It's a beautiful day. Okay, so there we have the tailpiece. Once I get this on, it will hold it in place. Use that. It's yummy. Kind of wants to come in and play with some of these strings. Okay, so I'm going to do simple kind of tuning, stringing on this. So I'm going to pull the string tight and come back the length of one fret, and then kind of wind it over the first time and then under the second time. Because it seems to work alright that way. I know that Scott Grove, I think he just poo-poos everything in terms of stringing, but that's okay. So just to give myself a bit of a head start while I'm here, I'm going to wind this up to give it enough clearance just to begin. This isn't going to be the action, it's just a start, so we're not hitting the pickups from the very outset. And then I need some cutters. Okay, so I'm hoping this guitar started out with an action of 2.5mm at the 22nd fret, and on the basis that Adam wanted it like his dad's action on his Hagstrom, which I know was a 1.5mm action on the 22nd fret. That means I'm going to aim to take this action on this guitar down, which we may not have been able to do without having done the frets, but with having done the frets we should have no problem at all getting that action at the 22nd fret. Just cutting these really short so they don't hurt anybody. And also I'm going to do that thing with this guitar, like all of them, take all of the stretch out of the strings before we go anywhere else. Okay. We may need to do a very small adjustment to this nut, but not very much. It was pretty good for once. Don't. The cat wants to come and chase the loose wires, but I don't wish for that. No. Right here. Here comes Morris. always find this part of the deal very difficult. The left hand. The left hand wind on. I haven't quite worked out how to do that very effectively. So I'm sort of having to work the whole stringing thing backwards. I just switch hands with the string winder.
Is that on Mike's guitar?
No, it's on Adam's. So it's a side, three machine heads aside, but the challenge is switching hands to do it kind of effectively left-handed. Just not very intuitive. Anyway. Unless you're left-handed, in which case you probably wouldn't be stringing this guitar. Unless you were a guitar tech doing it for someone else. Okay, so yeah, all told we'll look for 1.5 or 1.6 millimeter action, and hopefully that will be the improvement that Adam is looking for in this guitar. Because apart from that, and making sure that the frets are level, there's not a lot of other things other than we'll get the relief right as well. There was hardly any on there before. In fact, it was practically convex, sticking out, humped, if you like, on the treble side of it. Okay, make sure that's on. And one more. I think the intonation is probably going to be okay on this guitar. I would hope so. I would kind of assume it would have been it's one of the easier things to get right at the music shop, but it's not no guarantee that it has been done. Bend up, press down. Nope, that's why it's always good to make sure it's over the bridge and not off to the side. Okay. There we go. Strings on. Bin that lot before they stick somebody in the finger. So, just sticking to the basic principle here, I'm going to leave the pickups, I'm not going to adjust them at the moment. I'm just going to now begin by taking out the stretch out of these strings, because it's going to need to happen at some point, and it might as well be now. Beautiful out there. So it is a bit boring for viewers. Going to do this a couple of times over just to get all of the stretch out of it, so you're not dealing with that at the point we're trying to do the intonation. Do this 2 or 3 times, you get all of the natural stretch out of the strings. Ooh. And then you could go pretty much straight on and play on stage if you had to, without any further slippage. Okay. Right, I will then take a break. I sent John a message saying his Fender Bullet will be ready tomorrow for collection.
Oh, good.
If it's convenient with him, that is. Creaky. Reminds me that Hugh needed, remember he needed one of the bridge pieces stopped from moving. He had a special request. Yeah, it's got a bit sideways movement, not on this one though. Okay.
So, even though when I laid out all those sticks, they looked like they were going to be right to the top of that down, it turns out they only go halfway up.
Yeah.
So I shortened each stick by a centimetre to get to that place.
Okay. You're not going to use the full length of it?
No, I'll have to find some more sticks, I think.
I'm not going to get into that conversation about using harmonics to tune it. It's perfectly acceptable for what I'm doing.
Oh, I didn't want to do that. Right, see you in a while.
Okay, love. Because the point here is just to get it under tension. Okay, I'm going to stretch it again just to keep you riveted to the screen. Get all of the stretch out of this, and we'll tune it up one more time after that, and then we'll leave it sit for a bit because I want the neck to kind of absorb the string pressure, load, whatever, and then we'll have a look from the point of view of action, followed by neck relief. Followed by neck relief, and then we'll go for the intonation as last thing. And this, as I say, this guitar nut is pretty good, so hopefully we won't have to do any adjustment at all on that. So getting all of the stretch we can out now. Nearly there. You'll hear the difference. It's all gone substantially out of tune, as you know from your own experience changing strings. Okay. Nearly there. Last one. Hey Morris, enjoying the early summer? Don't drink out of that. It's dirty. It's got glue in it. Give me a string. So you can see how much that is. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to just check on now is the playing action down at the 22nd, and I want 1.6 millimeters. Currently we're on 2-ish, so that means I'm going to take the Allen key and wind this in a little bit, and that's going to take it down. We're going to be 1.6 right about there, and just check on this side. That's quite high still, so let's take that down a bit. Again, winding it in to take it down. 1.56, down a little bit more. 1.6 still. Out you come. Yeah. And we won't have too much in the way of relief at the moment. Again, the strings are still probably going out of tune a little bit. I'm just going to wind down these pickups a little bit now because they've lowered the action a little bit. The pickups are now too close. And there's the Scott Grove principle. I call it Scott Grove principle, but it's not Scott Grove's principle. But the general principle is that if the closer you are to the strings, the more the magnet theoretically drags on the strings. So if you want high output, put your pickup very close to the strings. If you want more sustain, keep it away. I might put some graphite in the nut here. Just get a bit of a tune again. Let's change tuning because I took the bridge down. Right. Looking nice, looking nice. Oh, there's a bit of pinging going on up here. I wonder if the slots on this weren't originally potentially cut for a set of 9 strings. I'm going to take each one in turn and just put a tiny bit of graphite in there to aid that process along, because we don't want it sticking. You can do it with a pencil. Just shave or write a pencil into there, or shave a pencil in. We'll need to retune these again in a second once we've done this, but just yeah, a bit of pencil shavings will do, or some powdered graphite, the kind we've got here, bought from the hardware store. Just putting these under proximate tune. They're not very deep, these slots anyway, so they shouldn't be sticking. There's not enough really depth in them to cause that, but shouldn't. That's the operative word, but we don't know. There's hardly any depth to them. I mean, come on, in you go. Last bits. Very tiny little slot. And then the last one, pinging off the side, which is a bit too much of a ping for my liking, but there we are. And drop some in there. Okay, and bring that back up onto the slot. Okay, clean up. It's very difficult to keep dust off things. Okay. So that's good, that's stopped pinging for the moment. That's what we wanted. Just give it a last sort of up and down stretch. And we'll take another temporary A. Very nice. Okay, I'm going to put this one down here for a minute, take a short break. It's looking good. Just make sure it's all safe, keep that away from the vise. There we go. Pop this one here for a minute. So what I'm going to do is take a short break. I'm going to come back to the SG Junior, and as a final thing I'm going to intonate it, and then I think we'll be ready to play. Should be in good nick. Okay, so I'll see you in a minute with that one. Okay, so yeah, forgot that I put the disc back in, but I must have done, otherwise we wouldn't be getting anything out of this now. So just putting the sound up to 50s. Excuse me. Okay, back to finish off this Les Paul. No, I keep saying Les Paul. This Gibson SG Junior, and we've levelled the frets. Plays beautifully. All I want to do now is intonate it, and for that I'm going to need my amplifier, my tuner, which is already fully charged, tuner, and a lead, and probably, just to make it easier, a strap, and find one. There's one. Right. In the end, I didn't put any oil on this neck because I didn't think it needed it. So I'm not going to do it if it doesn't need it. Not just for the sake of it. Okay. Here we go. Time to intonate. So the purpose of the intonation game is to get the lengths of the string, each string set to the correct length for this neck, and we use the tuner to do that. And really need to tidy up these balls because I don't know where anything is at the moment. Right, that's what I wanted. Yes, so yeah, we're gonna take each string in turn. I'm gonna make sure that each individual string length is right for this neck, and each one is going to be slightly different, and I think they're probably, judging by the spread of this, they're probably already correct, but we'll just double check it to make sure. So we just want to get tuned on the harmonic and then fret it, and it should be pretty much the same, and that's looking quite good at the moment. We'll come back to it. It's a fraction sharp but not much. Fraction sharp. Not too bad. Sharp. Right, if the note is sharp, it means the string overall is too short, which means we need to pull back this. I don't have much access to any of this. We need to pull back this bridge saddle. Really don't have much access. I don't want to have to take this off. Too much hassle, but so we do need to pull that back, basically. I find that these tunematic bridges very unresponsive, personally. Same again. Taking it back just a fraction. Okay, that's good. Ping. So those three are, are all slightly sharp, so I'm going to pull them back, roll back a little bit. Back we go a little bit. Okay. I hate the way that these are aligned directly underneath the strings. And sort of couldn't think of a worse way to do it, really. Nearly there. So we've got it going. It's better than I thought. I'm not a fan of tune-o-matic bridges just because of the fiddliness of this. The fact that it just doesn't line up correctly, and it's as if it was designed so you couldn't get proper access to it. Still a bit sharp. There are times where no matter what you do to this setting down here, it doesn't seem to make any difference at all. No idea why that is. That's what I don't like about it. And finally, now that's just Adam, for your edification, if you haven't seen this before, that's significantly out of out of whack as far as intonation goes. You can see it. Watch the tuner. Okay, so it's visible. So we've got to take this one back quite a way. And I can see it's parked all the way near the front of the bridge anyway, so it looks like it's well forward of all the others now. But we have to make adjustments to those too. Worth remembering. But there's quite a bit of pulling this one back to do. It's such an impossible thing to get a hold of, honestly. And there's not even a offset screwdriver would do this, because you still can't get in behind underneath the string. The only way you could get a clean access at this would be an offset screwdriver with the string removed, and then you have to tune it all the way up again to get the intonation test. Try these 3 again. Good. Good. Slightly sharp still. And we're almost there. We're just about there. A couple of more little tweaks on this one. Tiny bit more. Amazing how much we've had to adjust on this. They're still staggered in the right order, which is good. There we go. Let's do the other 3 again. A bit more. Of course, you've got to remember that there is a degree of personal playing style that goes into this. It's not going to be the same result for everybody because people fret the guitar differently. That's on. Now I'm going to slack these a bit more off even still because I can see that they're not in relation to each other. This next one is not in the right place, so I'm going to crank it back. Sharp again. Not a very impressive spread of things, I have to say. Not the way I'd like to see them, but they are set, and you can see this, that judging by what we've done, they're correctly set. time. Okay, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The setup and intonated. I'm just wondering if that, whether that's no, that's 0.25. That's enough. That's it. The Gibson SG Junior going to put the just check the neck relief. That's the last thing I'm going to do, because I think it's all there from the last time. There's a little bit of relief in there. That's enough for me. Although it's interesting. It's still a fraction on the what's going to call it side, straight side on the treble edge. So I'm just going to make a little adjustment to that if I can find the thing. Thank you. And what I want is a bit of relief in the neck. So I'm just going to go counter-clockwise and see what happens. Where's the case? The case is there. Right. Just have a quick look one more time. Hardly any. Amazing how little there is. Holding the first and last, practically none. So let's do another adjustment. Right, what have we got now? Little bit of relief. Little bit of relief. Thank you. A quick look in terms of the amount of space that we've got. Still very fine. Very, very fine. Question is, we only need as much as we need. We don't need more than we need. Right. Okay, just checking the pickup heights. Just again double a quick check of the the thingy, you know what I mean, relief. Yeah, it's got some in there now, where it didn't have it before. And that's not a huge amount, but enough. one thing, I don't remember where I put it now. Hellfire. Okay. Put it away, lost it straight away. Usual story. Okay. Before you die of boredom, folks, I know you already have, but so we're now at 1.6 on there and 1.75 on the treble side, on which in fact I think we can take that down a tiny bit. I'm just going to do it up the tiniest amount. There we go. Noise. Yep, there we go. You can see the shadow showing us where the relief is. That's okay. Good, good. Just double check one more time. Yep. That is that. I'm now going to put the thing back on and we'll put this baby away and so the job will be done. Okay, so thank you for hanging out with me while I did this, and I hope it wasn't too much of a shock to you to discover that the high quality Gibson, like all other guitars, almost all other guitars, not Suars, I'm reliably informed, but like most other guitars, the Gibson SGJ comes with uneven frets. They weren't massively uneven, there were a lot of them, but they weren't grossly uneven, shall we say, just enough to make us need to level it up. Okay, so there we have the setup SG Junior. Good condition, really new, everything working well on it, and just needing the action setting. I don't really think we can go any lower. Don't think we'd want to. We're down a millimetre on what we were to begin with, so we're just a tad on 1.5 there, and we began on 2.5, so it has come down a whole millimetre, and I'm going to stop there because I've forgotten now what it felt like before, but I'm sure Adam will notice the difference because he's much more familiar with it than I am. So there we go. Adam's Gibson SGJ goes into its beautiful polar bear lined case, and this little device, which I so would like to steal from him because I need it, will go back into its container, and I will have to make do with using my makeshift ones. Okay, so there we go. There's Adam's ready to go back, and I think Malcolm's coming for that one on Tuesday. Now, while I'm going to stop the video and start again.